Superman is finally here. And I said it. Roll the fucking tape. There's proof. I've been calling this since this movie was announced that this movie was going to hit different. Now everybody's talking. Once again, the GOAT showed up right when we needed him most. And this movie, it hit harder than anybody expected, except for me. Let's talk about why. James Gunn's Superman is very unique. We were thrown into this world as it exists. Superman has been Superman for about 3 years, it tells us. This movie is about him balancing his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing, but more so than that, this movie is really about like all the things that Superman stands for: hope and kindness and gentleness and all that stuff.
I thought this movie was fantastic. This is probably my favorite Superman movie that I've seen so far. Not only do they skip the BS that everyone basically knows, even someone like me, it's just jam-packed full of like the craziest stuff. It feels like it's like so much going on like at all times in this.
This movie really never like lets its foot off the gas. As soon as he crashes into the snow, it's very much a comic book in that sense.
Yes.
It was just so much. Was it like a dimensional imp or whatever?
Yeah. Dimensional imp.
And we were all like speculating like, oh shit, what is that? And Gunn just kind of makes a joke of it in the movie itself. It wasn't even anything. So it's like, that was cool too.
That was the first image released of him in the suit, if you remember, like over a year ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was him in the apartment putting his boots on, and everybody was like, he's not out there fucking like stopping whatever that thing is in the background. Right. And like now that we see it in context, it's like, yeah, this is just,
now. There's other shit. This is just a
metahuman. This is just a Tuesday in Metropolis. Like the other guys got it. They're good.
Yeah.
And obviously in this particular scene, he's like despondent and a little bit like.
Right. But it's good. I mean, it shows like even Superman needs a break sometimes, you know?
This is probably, in my opinion, the most comic book movie we've ever had. Ever in the history of superhero movies being made. This is unapologetically a comic book movie. Like in terms
Tim Burton did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he did, but this is more comic booky than that, I think.
Okay.
Just in the themes and the tone, the dialogue is like cheesy at times. You know, he's like, good golly or gosh. That's just comic book writing. And that line that he delivers at the end where he like tells Lex, like, that's what you've always gotten wrong about me. Like, I'm just as human as if this wasn't a comic book movie, we would all be like, oh my God, that's the cheesiest shit I've ever heard. But in the context of a comic book, it works perfectly fine.
I loved this movie. It was a great Superman. I do have some problems with it. First of all, perfectly cast.
Oh my God.
I was a little bit wary of seeing David Cornsweet in the pictures and being like, he's not the most Superman-esque, just the photos they released. But seeing him live action as Superman, I was like, oh my God, he's fucking nailing this shit. This is great.
He was born to play Superman. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And Nick Holt, I was very wary of, the most wary of, because I'm
remember my complaints? I was like, this guy, he doesn't even look like it, but he killed that shit.
Oh my God.
He did. Megalomaniacal maniac. Now, I could have done without the crying Lex Luthor when he's, when Superman gave a speech about how I'm human and Lex is losing. And it just, I don't know, that one kind of like, I mean, Lex.
Well, you have to.
The thing about Lex is he's so smart. And sure, he's passionate about everything, and he has that rage. So sure, that could invoke some emotions, but Lex knows that Superman won't kill him.
I took that
so
as a rage
nothing to
cry.
worry about. Yeah, possibly, I guess, but like it just felt a little. That was like
I did not feel at all that it was like I'm sad cry. It was like a. It was like I'm so frustrated right now that like just tears are coming out.
James Gunn said that those things he doesn't want to see in a superhero movie or things that we've seen in superhero movies over and over and over. Well, this is the third live action Superman where Lex is trying to claim his own territory and become king of it.
That is
we saw
fair.
It in Superman 1, we saw it in Superman Returns, and now we saw it again in Superman. And it's also been done in some of the animated Supermans. So that trope really, for me, was just like, again.
Maybe the difference was he said that was just the plot. He created the war to kill Superman.
In the other movies, it's literally just about real estate. Like in the 78 movie, he wants real estate to sell it.
Yeah.
In Superman,
California.
Right. In Superman Returns, he's trying to, again, develop
make his own island or
land
continent
for real estate. This is not real estate, but I
But
get
it's
where
to
you're
be
coming
king of that real estate as well.
I
Like
get
he
where you're
wants to
coming
be
from,
the
yeah.
president, ruler.
Yeah.
But again, I love this movie. This is a great movie. I've watched it twice. So,
from. Me too.
Nice.
and I will sure watch it multiple times.
hmm
But there was just a few things where I'm not going to be able to give it
That's fair.
a perfect score.
Dead honest, I think this is the best Superman movie we've ever gotten. You could accuse me of recency bias or call it hyperbole. The Donner film obviously holds a very special place in my heart and in pop culture for obvious reasons. Without the 78 Superman, you don't get this movie. You don't get the MCU probably. You don't get a lot of comic book movies that have come after it. But this movie here, Superman, purely represents what Superman is from the comic books.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's going to say Christopher Reeve is the best Superman. And
Not
he is,
me.
and he is certainly iconic. But the big difference for me between Christopher Reeve's portrayal in the Donner film is that in that movie, Superman is his real identity. He acts stumbly and bumbly as Clark to sort of distract from the fact that, like, hey, this guy looks like fucking Superman. And when he turns into Superman, when he breaks the character, you see he stands up and he's perfect posture and hello, Lois. Like, he does all that. In this movie and in the comic books, Clark is the real identity, and his persona as Superman being confident and this is that's the persona. And this movie fucking nailed it. The way David Corenswet played it was so humble and I don't want to say goofy, but lack of a better word, he's just like, he's a goofball. Like he plays around with Jimmy. There's the clip that was cut from the movie, which is one of my gripes, and I'll get to it later, where Lombard is like, hey, loser, and he's like, you're a loser. Like, he's playful. That's who he is. He just, I don't know, he wears his heart on his sleeve and he's not ashamed of it. David Corenswet played that perfectly, and I never got that from Christopher Reeve's portrayal of the character. It was better than I could have imagined. It was everything I wanted it to be and then some, because it really serves to show us what it means to be a purely good person. It's talking about the supporting cast. That's why all the other characters exist in this movie, is to stand in direct contrast to Superman. There was a lot of criticism going into this about like, oh, this movie's going to be overstuffed. There's too many characters. How is James Gunn going to deal with it all?
I mean,
and then you realize when you watch it that they're not main characters. They don't need to be fleshed out in this movie. They're just there. And they're there to show that, A, what Marvin said earlier, Superman can't do everything by himself. And they're there to stand in contrast to Superman, because here are these guys, these group of heroes who are corporatized. After that kaiju fight, they're taking fucking publicity shots from the media and stuff. And what's Superman doing? He's in the back hugging kids and like high-fiving kids and stuff. And so the whole supporting cast, including Lois, is meant to contrast against Superman's pureness and goodness, and just the whole movie is about, I just want to fucking save people. I just want to do what's right, and that's my only concern. I don't care about geopolitics. I don't care about cameras. I don't care about social media. I just care about doing good. Oh, I'm gonna get choked up. Like, James Gunn said it from the get-go. Like, this movie is about Superman in a world where kindness is old-fashioned. I was a little bummed out because the trailers, they build up that like war that he stops. I thought we were going to see it, especially the moment of the kid raising the flag. And at first I was a little disappointed. I was like, fuck, Superman didn't go go answer that kid's call. But that wasn't the point of that scene. The trailer painted it as that. But the actual plot twist is that scene is about the hope that Superman inspires in, oh God, I can't even talk about it. That scene is about the hope that Superman inspires in other people. Like these people are about to be slaughtered. And the kid raises the flag and says, Superman, Superman, Superman. That scene represents hope, and the hope that Superman inspires in people. And then it comes full circle, and this corporate fucking group of heroes that don't really like care that much, show up to save these kids because they were inspired by Superman. So this movie is about the hope that Superman inspires in others, and also how Superman inspires others to be good and to do good.
Yeah. Like you said, with comic books, it doesn't have to flesh it out, because if you want to learn more about a certain character, you can go and do that. Like, you get just enough to where you can appreciate it in the moment. And then if you want to learn more, you can go learn more.
Lex exposes to the world that, no, Superman was actually sent here to rule over us because we are a weak species. And the world turns on Superman, and he sort of turns on himself. in this movie, and I really was emotional. I felt for him. I felt really bad for him because his whole
It's a betrayal.
identity, it was completely shattered in that moment. At first, I was a little upset. I was like, I don't know if I like this. But the more I've sat with it and thought about it, I actually like it. Jor-el is always portrayed as like this angelic figure who's guiding Clark with this morality. I've always sort of felt that Jor-el being Superman's moral compass sort of undermines the Kents.
It doesn't really bother me so much that they made that change because it opines on the fact that we're so lucky that he landed on a small farm in Kansas and had good people to nurture at least the message that he got that made him what he is. So, I mean, you can double up on top. Yeah, his dad was good and his other dad was good. Or, yeah, I mean, his parents were good, but they knew he was going to be a god there. And so they told him to rule over them and take an harem of wives or whatever. But he's just lucky that he didn't get the full message and had good parents. So I liked it.
You to expect a alien race from another planet to have the same morality as human beings on Earth is as stupid as expecting them to speak English. And I think I prefer it over like the angelic, like guiding light of Jor-el from other movies past, because it undermines the Kents. And this movie is about his humanity and about and he only has that humanity because of the guidance of Ma and Pa Kent. And I thought it was really great. And I also thought it was really great that Pa Kent gets to be alive to see his son become Superman and to be proud of him. That I can't even deal with it.
That was good. Yeah.
That movie.
I didn't even think about that.
The ending scene when he says, "Oh, we played the video. You want the video of your parents?" It soothes him, and it's just all the home. I can't even.
Yeah, that was a good. That was a good swap there.
I cried my balls off. Mm-hmm.
You're not your parents, too, right?
Exactly.
Like,
that's what Jonathan says to him. Like, it's not our job to tell you what to do. It's our job to give you the tools.
Him facing that adversity of I don't know who I am, and then John Kent saying you're exactly who you're supposed to be. You're who I raised to be this person, and none of that is changed. And I couldn't be more proud of you. Like, that is brilliant, right?
Oh yeah. The one line that really encapsulated this movie for me is when the moment I was like, oh, this is like my Superman now, is when he's having that second conversation with Lois, and he's like, I'm gonna turn myself into the DOJ, and she's like, what? Why? And he's like, well, he's like, hopefully they take me to where the dog is, and she goes, he's just a dog, and he goes, yeah, he is just a dog, and not even a very good one, but he's out there alone, and he's probably scared. I'm crying now talking about it. Like it is so fucking just purely Superman, and it highlights his perspective and what he's willing to do to help all life. The Justice Gang are fighting the kaiju, and they're being sloppy about it, and they're fucking showboating and doing like all this stuff, and Superman's just saving a woman, saving a kid who's about to be stomped on, saving a dog, saving a fucking squirrel. Like
a squirrel, yeah.
That felt like a James Gunn fuck you to Zack Snyder because he let his dad die and then he killed fucking Zod. And it's like, come on, man.
I didn't feel any animosity in this towards other
No, not at all, but
this
just
felt
the Snyder bots. That was definitely a
this felt like a reintroduction to the character. It's like, hey guys, you have been given a very misguided version of this character for so long. Like, this is who he really
going
is.
emo on some logging truck.
Yeah. And like that scene, he's willing to risk his life and get himself into literally the worst situation he's ever been in at this point just for a dog. The only gripe I really have about this movie is this is one of the first times where I felt the movie should have been longer. Like, not because it was not because it was overstuffed. I didn't feel it was overstuffed, but it was very fast paced. And if I had to guess, I would bet that James Gunn probably felt pressure to cut this movie down. I bet you he has like 3 hours of like gold footage. There were some edits that are a little jarring where it's like, oh, we're here now? Like, okay, fine. It was fine. Didn't really kill the movie. It's just like, those were things that I noticed where I'm like, you definitely cut something from that. Like, why? So that was my only thing. I wish it was longer. I kept saying leading up to this, we needed this movie more than ever. And it's having the effect that I thought it would have. There are people on the internet all over the place being like, I forgot what fucking kindness looked like. I forgot what hopefulness felt like. Superman always arrives when we need him the most. And he did it again because he's the GOAT. And also the family thing, tying it into family really hit home for me because it's like one of my earliest connections I have with my dad. And, you know, as my family's getting older now and like you start to like look at things a little bit differently. Like my dad used to fly me around our house. Like he used to hold me up and like so I could pretend I was flying like Superman. And I'm going to cry again. When I got out of the theater, there was a guy holding his kid up and doing it like outside of the movie theater.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a really nice moment. And that's really what it's all about.
Hope always wins in the end.
That's right. It does. You always hear the trope that Superman represents hope, but like, honestly, this is one of the first times a movie really inspired me to want to be a better person. His vulnerability in this and his struggle with like in this world, like I just really felt bad for him the whole time, and it made it very emotional. And he's just a farm boy from Kansas, and he's trying to do his best, like, and to try to do your best in when everything seems to be pushing back against you. Is that something that we could all relate to? So I just felt this Superman was like very relatable. He's trying his best all the time. David Cornsweet as the character and the script like really captured it, and it was brilliant. I was very moved by this movie. Undoubtedly, I think this is now officially like my Superman. Like I love Christopher Reeve. I have so much reverence for him and Donner and that movie. This Superman really represents me and the things that I feel I struggle with. And I don't think I've ever really connected with the character like I have in this portrayal.
Yeah, it's because he has this human side in his superhero self. Like his passion for compassion in this movie was amazing, because Christopher Reeve's Superman is stoic, and he is the 30s to 50s, like, I am the good guy, Boy Scout. Yeah. Whereas in this one, like, Cornsweet again nailed it. Yeah. Like when he got angry at Lois, like people were gonna die yelling that. Or when he's telling Lex, like, hey, my greatest strength is I'm a fucking human. Like his passion for just being good is, I think, a better portrayal than the stoicism of Christopher Reeve's Superman. And so I get why you can say it's your Superman, because it feels better, I think, in the way he approaches it. Yeah. And what he's just real quick, what he says at the end after that speech during that speech to Lex, he's like, I hope you eventually get to where I'm at, because he recognizes Lex is very smart and powerful. Lex could save the world. Sure. And that's always a dynamic between Superman, and he does sometimes, every now and again. So yeah, all around great, top to bottom. This has a 7.7. It's, you know, it's getting mostly great reviews, and everybody seems to have loved it.
It's just a 10 for me. Okay.
You know what? You convinced me. It's a 10. Fuck it. It is. It's just like, I think it's a perfect movie. It really is great. Like it did all the things that it needed to do. I would have liked it to be longer, but to not grade it perfect because of that is stupid. It's a great movie. I loved it. It's 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it again.
It's getting a 1 point bump. I'll give it an 8.5, but I can't give it my perfect 9.
That's high though.
Just because, like I said, I got a few complaints, and some of it is like, because I know James Gunn movies so well, some of it felt a little, you know, like all that stuff. But I totally get it. But I'm very excited for the future of DC. I think it's in good hands. James Gunn understood the assignment with this movie, so I'm very excited to see what comes next, which is Supergirl, and we get her cameo at the end. Movie-wise, yeah. Yeah. So great movie. Everybody go check it out. Run to the theaters to see it. If you have already watched it, please leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts, and tell us what you're excited for in the DC.